So this is where you got to win. That's where you got to win against a Goodwill. A Goodwill, you have to catch them in the categories that they're not real familiar with, where they're not drilling down deep. They're just kind of, boom, there's an amplifier. Boom, there's this. Boom, there's this. They pick them out, and then they leave us the crumbs. What's your number? That's something we're going to talk about today. Hey everyone, it's Mike, the Golden State Picker, and we're out in front of the house, covered. It's pretty hot. The sun's beating this way. Do you have a number in mind for every day that you'd like to sell and you'd like to thrift for? Is there some kind of number that makes you happy? You know, you reach that goal, you go, oh, I did it, I got it. Or does it matter? I have one. It's a pretty simple number. My simple number is 300, and it's $300 net, and it's the same kind of thing as the picking side. So it's kind of a 1-for-1 type thing. And I hit that most of the time, because if you figure out 300 times 30 is 9,000 right a month. 9,000 times 12 is about 120. What is it? Yeah, 100 and something. But you'll end up doing more, generally speaking. But that's kind of the base number that I shoot for every day. It's in my head. And if I get that number, it's great. And if not, it doesn't matter, because the average is going to be, generally, if you set this little target in your mind, it just kind of helps you kind of balance things out, in my opinion. So it's like, well, I got a $500 day here, but I got a $150 day here. So you're not kind of shooting so high at 500, which is, you know, hey, that's great. If somebody wants to go for that, go for that. But that just kind of puts in your mind that, oh, I got to really work for 500. And if I don't get 500, you trigger a lot of things that maybe you shouldn't buy. You know, sometimes there's some days where you shouldn't buy, or you should be really, really focused on what you're looking for. That's how it should be. And that's where I've gotten after 2 years with this. I'm trying desperately to make sure that I'm purchasing solid items. And it's very, very difficult. Oh, it's tough. Every day I go into those stores, and the first things I say, you heard me say this before, is don't buy just to buy. I actually say the words. And there'll be sometimes in the store when I'm walking down the aisle, maybe somebody hears me just mumble that, don't buy just to buy. That's my trigger to say, hey, stay focused, stay on point, and continue to look for good items. Don't let your mind wander to something that you just are going to have sit around, or you're not going to be happy with. So we're going to take a look at what I got today, and we'll see what you think about those, you know, and then we'll show you some sold items. But again, I like to give you a little bit of flavor every video, something to kind of think about in your thrifting, to be just so much better at it. All right, let's take a look at what I found today, and maybe we'll give you some reasons behind it, something like that, some thinking behind it. So we're going to start off with something really small, really tiny. But now I have experience. That's another key, right? You have experience with some items that you might not pick up, but you just know you're still going to sell it. Even though it might not make you a ton of money, you're still going to sell it. This is what it is, okay? It's a little tank. Now this tank is all messed up. It's got bent bumpers. This thing's all messed up, missing the gun. The turret does spin, but it was only like $2.09. $2.09. So I've sold these before, in good condition and not in good condition. This one's not in good condition, and I'm going to sell it for as is, basically for like tank parts. But what they'll do is people will use these in simulation systems. They have, like, you know, train tracks. They have battlefields. So this one will become one that's going to be blown up or something like that, or disabled, or they'll use it for parts. I'm not going to get a lot, but it's going to sell. I'm going to get about 25 bucks, but 2 into 25, that's okay. And I'm going to get shipping. So I'll get about 25 bucks, let's call it. It's a good solid little flip, because you know it's going to flip. You've sold it before, and you know about this particular product. So that's why you got to know. You have to have this vast knowledge as a picker. You really do. You just have to have this vast knowledge, and you only get that by going into stores, by walking through stores, understanding what's going on, watching videos, watching other things, and then they click in your head. You go, thumbs up, you know, you got it. You figure it out. All right. I love this kind of stuff This is Sea Hot, and it's a hair removal system. Now, I've heard so many things about these. I talked to my wife. I said, do these things actually work? She tried one, I think, a while back, and it did nothing for her. So I don't want to call it, what do you call that? Voodoo? I don't know. Don't get me wrong, ladies. I don't know. Tell me if this works or if it doesn't work. But anyhow, it's brand new. This is going to sell for right around $100, and we got it for $4.99. So these can, you know, I love it when they're wrapped, right? So that's what that is. All right, let's take a look at the next items. Been dabbling in the silverware aisle a little bit. Now, this brand is called Loeffler, and very, just very unique little brand here. Let me pull some out. Spoon's got a little tail on it. Can you see that little tail? You kind of know when you see vintage. Just cover my face. Look at that. Silly, crazy me. You get oh, you see that? I still have my reflexes. I still got them. They haven't left me yet. Tomorrow's my birthday, by the way. You know, tomorrow I'm 1 year away from age 60. I'm gonna be 59 tomorrow. Yeesh. Can't believe it. 59. Time flies. There it is. So that's a kind of a look that you're looking for. You just kind of can't miss it when you see a butter knife kind of like that. Kind of strange. Look at that. Kind of a artsy design. $7.99 for the bag. There's 19 pieces in it. We should get anywhere from $100 to $150 for the various 19 pieces. Really, very, very, very cool. All right, let's, all right, we'll just go right back to golf. You know what's coming, right? You know it. You know what's coming. Listen to that noise. When you hear that noise, you know what I got. I have golf clubs. I love these. I really do. You can see the enthusiasm here. When I saw these, I was like, bam. When you see something like this in the store and your eyes catch this, and you know this category like the back of your hand, you just know it. You know that you just picked up $300. Is that how it is? It's like, tell me, is that how you feel? It's like, boom, you pick it up and you know right there is $300. That's what that is. That's $300. And each club was $4.79. So $20 into $300. Easy shippers, and they will sell. They will sell. This is the brand Ping. 2 of them. Now I could probably lot these 2 up. What's great about this is, again, we talked a little bit about shaft, so I'm going to give you one more little tip here. One of the best shafts to get is the Project X. You see that? It's Project X. Project X is a really good shaft, and it's a stiff. So this is for the better player. Remember, we talked about regular, senior, different things, but the stiffs usually play to the strengths of a little bit better player. So these 2 clubs are going to get me close to $200 right here, just on these 2 alone. I'm just going to flash the other ones just to give you an idea, because I want to talk about a putter. This one here is Mac Tech. Not a great one, but it's a solid $50-$60 bill. Solid $50-$60 bill, and it was $4.79. Now this is an interesting putter, because I also like to educate, let people know why something is and so forth. This is, look at how long this is. I'm standing back. It's very long. Look at from my one arm out right there. It's probably about, I want to say it's close to 48. It might be 41, 42, but I can't really be positive until I measure it. But what it is the belly putter, and I got a belly. I got a pretty good belly. And you stick it, and you stand back there. It goes into your sternum, and then you putt with it like this. Problem with it is the USGA, which is the governing body, and the Royal St. Andrews, the 2 governing bodies of golf, have outlawed anchoring to your body, basically your stomach. So this putter is pretty much illegal. So you'd think, oh, you can't sell it. Doesn't matter. There's guys out there that are just playing for fun, and that's what you're after here. You're not after the guy who's playing in tournaments. This is going to be for somebody who has a little bit of the yips, we call in the game of golf. He's going to play this putter right here. So very, very cool. Very nice little putter. All right, let's keep moving. We'll save a couple, 3 things, the 3 expensive things for last. Thrustmaster. in the box, not brand new, but in the box. This is nothing great, but it was only $3. We're gonna get original price was 40 on there. Look at original back in the day. This is a USB one, so that's nice, and it's for the PC. The ones that have the PS2 hookups, I don't think are nearly as worth anything. This thing isn't either. This is worth about 29 max, about 29 at the top end. But I got the box. That's the key too, is if you can get the box, it seems to always add just that little stronger value to your item. All right, next up is a very interesting little piece from Russia, the Soviet Union. Basically, look at this thing. Very, very cool. I'm gonna try and hold it up very carefully. There it is. Look how big my hand is, huh? I got the biggest digits. There you go. T, anyone? T? This is 916 sterling silver with enamel on it. Now I'm gonna put across some of this stuff that what it can go for. There's one of these that sold for $326, same one. And there's also another one I saw, I think I gotta find it, for $540. So very, very cool. This is kind of the stuff that you just see and you just go, okay, that's really nice. Really, really nice. It's a Russian enamel teacup and platter, sterling, and we'll see what it goes for. We don't know. Anywhere from $300 to $500 is what I'm thinking. Keyboards. You don't think about keyboards, right? Well, they can be worth some money too. I mean, it's everything, right, guys? We are out there looking, and it's like every category you look in. What you do sometimes is when you're bored is just, if you're looking at a keyboard, punch in keyboards, then look for the highest, and then you know, hey, this is what I'm looking for, the holy grail of keyboards, those kind of things, right? You just want to keep digging, keep learning. So you see something and it's not there, just say, hey, let's look at the highest sold, boom, let's take a look, see what it is, file that away in the old computer, and off you run. This one here is a Sensel. And there's all kinds of these little magnetic pads that go over the top of them. And, you know, there's an innovator's overlay, and this is a media editing overlay. All of these go together to form $300. And you get it for about $10.99. How's that? Minus some 20%, so you can't fail, right? So this is the kind of stuff that is like amazing to me. It's like little things like that. This is where they miss. This is where a lot of the thrift stores miss. The Goodwills and those who are skimming the product, because we know what Goodwill does. Goodwill takes the best stuff that's easy. They're like shooting fish in a, you think we shoot fish in a barrel. They're shooting 2 guns in 2 barrels because the stuff they get, it's easy, it's visible. It would be so visible to us, but to them, boom. They pull all jewelry. And send it out back to their plant or their area plant. And then they search for the 14 karat gold, the sterling silver, all of that. They miss some there, but they don't miss much because they've got experts that look at all of that stuff. You imagine how much of the gold and stuff like that. So getting back to the little teacup, they just think it's a teacup. So this is where you got to win. That's where you got to win against a Goodwill. A Goodwill, you have to catch them in the categories that they're not real familiar with, where they're not drilling down deep. They're just kind of, boom, there's an amplifier. Boom, there's this. Boom, there's this. They pick them out. And then they leave us the crumbs, right? They leave us the crumbs. It's their business. That's what it is. That's the Goodwill. They can do what they want. They get the product. Then they put it up online and they sell it for tons of money. You want to take a look at some of the stuff that the Goodwill sells? Go to their Goodwill website and take a look at some of the stuff that they're selling. It's amazing. They are making a ton of money. I think the stat was that they finally went over $1 billion of online sales. $1 billion. That's a big number for a nonprofit donation place, right? Very, very interesting. All right, I think we got the one last item, which is very, very cool. All right, there it is. It's a Dell. I got to stand it up the right way. It's a Dell Optiplex 7060 little computer. It's in minty looking condition. Doesn't mean it works, but I'm pretty sure it does. We're in Silicon Valley, and a lot of these techies, they tech businesses basically turn their stuff over sometimes. They turn their stuff over constantly. and they might have upgraded, but I'm pretty sure we opened this up inside, and there's a fancy way to open it. We have pictures taken of it inside. And what's really cool about it is, well, first we paid $17.99. It has a really, really nice graphics card, and it has 32 gigabytes of RAM. 32 gigabytes. The RAM slots, if you just sold those, you'd have 4. You can get about $50 each. So that's $200 just in parts in that alone. That's why you see people grab these computers, especially if they can figure out what the RAM is on them. And it's amazing that some of these can go for. This, with the graphics card it has and everything else that it has, this is a solid $400 item. Solid $400. So if you take a look, if we give the teacup at $300 and we give that at $4, there's $7. We give the golf clubs at $3, that's $1,000. And we give that and that 12, about $1,300, easy $1,300. You can see how it can add up pretty quickly. And what was my target number? It's only $300. It's really nothing. $300 is what I've always had it at, and that's where I've always kept it at, but it's $300. But I got about $1,300. And there's not a lot of stock here. There's only about 8 or 9 items. Remember another rule that I kind of have? It was like 10 in, 10 out. 10 in, 10 out. And I think I sold only about 10 today. If you look at my numbers across the board, which we will do in another video in another couple of days, I basically sell probably about 10 items a day on average. Not many, not much. Some will sell 20 because they have smaller items and so forth. I tend to go for the bigger hits, the bigger swings. Therefore, I have to have, heavier storage, that kind of stuff. But in the long run, you just got to pick out your number and then stick to it, and then just watch it. Watch your sales grow. Watch all this stuff in your head just become so much better. Because when you got like today, I have like $1,200-$1,300, right? It's over 300. That's like a big number, right? Now let's say I drop down to 2. Well, okay, I'm only $100 off of my $300 number. That's nothing. So it's all relative. You're trying to play these mind games sort of with yourself as you're out there in the world. You're trying to figure out, how do I do this? How do I make my... You want to make yourself feel strong and good. You don't want to set it 1,000 and then every day you get 300 and you're going, well, that's not good. I mean, I'm not meeting my goal of 1,000 or my target. I don't like the word goals. Personally, I don't like that. My target or whatever I'm doing, that's like, that's not good. So give yourself a realistic number. Try it for a while and then play the game in your head. All right, there I go, rambling again. Ramble on. All right, let's get on to what's sold. Up first, we're gonna swing right back to golf. Another driver. I just love selling them because they're so good for money, for profit. This one was a golf tailor-made draw driver, and it sold for $87 plus $12.95 shipping. Something to think about too on some of these drivers. When you see the word draw, that tends to be a little bit more money than if it doesn't have the word draw. Draw is just the shape of the face is closed. That's some technical stuff, but it tends to do better. So draw versus no draw, it does better. See, that's what I mean. You got to understand the little nuances within your category. I can't tell you anything about clothing, really. I'm just dumber than a box of rocks when it comes to that. But I can tell you a lot about golf clubs. I can tell you some stuff about computers. I can tell you just a lot about amplifiers. So really drill down in your niche, understand it, and then when that happens, you're going to be the one who's really going to pick up and make a lot of money in that niche because you know a lot. You're deep in that niche. Next, a little Plantronics headset. And this is an interesting one. I thought it would go faster because of COVID. And even without COVID, many people are working at home. So I have to kind of sometimes remember that this isn't a great headset, but it's a nice one. It's one of those ones, you put on and it's like Plantronics is famous for the telephone, all that kind of stuff. Sold for $50.96 free shipping. I think I only paid probably $5-6 for it. All right, next up, the Fisher turntable. Interesting play on this. So this is fun. This is why, can you tell I'm just fired up today? I don't know. I'm just ready, really ready to go. Got a picker friend, and this is what I mean by the networking, right? All day long we're talking to each other. It's like, what are you finding? Where are you at? All that kind of stuff. We're just talking. We're just going off. We're just figuring things out for the day. So anyhow, my friend, he texts me, he says, look what I found. He shows me this Fisher turntable. Well, he shows me a really nice picture of it, and I'm like, wow, that's cool, where'd you find it at? And he tells me where he found it at, and he says it's only $4. I'm like, wow, that's cool, you know, $4. Where was I, right? You know, I missed it. So I drilled down. The first thing I do is I start looking it up, testing, and see what is it worth? What is it worth, right? And I realized it was probably worth about $100. So it took some of the bummer out of me. It's like, okay, it ain't that way, it ain't that bad. But he goes, hey, do you want it? And I go, well, sure. What are you asking? He goes, well, I want $10. I said, I'll take it, $10. So anyhow, to show you how you work these things. So I go thrifting and I find a Joe Thornton lithograph by Leroy Neiman. I think it was only like $5. It was like $5, right? So I said, I knew he was a Sharks fan. So I told him, I said, hey Nash, check out what I got. He looks at it and he goes, well, how much? And I said, look, the turntable's 10. I'll give you this for 20, and you know, I keep the turntable. So basically, you owe me like $5 or whatever it is, right? It's a $5. So we swapped items, and the kicker is I already sold the turntable. The turntable sold for, what was it? I forget now. $99.95 and $39.95 shipping. It went to Arizona, so I even made 10 or 15 bucks off the shipping. So that's networking, right, guys? It's not you're trying to get over on somebody or you're worried about everybody else. Don't get involved with everybody. You're gonna find deals. I wasn't really interested in the Joe Thornton thing, but I knew that he was gonna like this Joe Thornton thing. And I'm thinking, well, you know what? I didn't pay anything for this thing. Maybe he's gonna want it, and it works out. He gets a win, I get a win. There you go, win-win. Next, Canon AE1 camera, 35mm. We talk about those all the time. This was a $125 sale, $21.95. Solid. Next up, you saw the football helmets. Well, inside the football helmets were about 4 of these batter helmets. You used to get them in the 60s and 70s when I was a kid. It was like, man, I was so thrilled to get the Giants one. It's a little plastic one. They're little cheapy things, but they were cool. This one's the Atlanta Brave one. And when I saw the Atlanta Brave one, it triggered something in me. What it did was, I'm a sports fan. I like all sports. It triggered the Hank Aaron home run when he broke Babe Ruth's record. And he's running around the bases. And I remember he put his hand on his hat because the people were coming out of the stands. And he didn't want to lose his hat for some reason, or his helmet. He's putting it on. And this is kind of what that helmet looked like. So that triggered that in me. So that's a memory that I had. So this helmet sold for $23.95 and $9.95 shipping. Pretty cool because I only paid like $10 for the whole lot. Next up is always look for cleaners. This is Zap. Every time I see Zap, I grab Zap. Sometimes you'll find it in a 2-pack, a single pack. This one sold for $59.95. Free shipping, but I only paid $3.99 for it at Savers. So every time you see Zap, pick that stuff up. It's got to be sealed, obviously, but pick it up. Okay, ramble on. That's me. Sorry, guys, that's me. Anyhow, thanks again. Every one of you, thanks for watching. And we will see you next time.